What is poppin', people? So guys, firstly I'd just like to do a quick apology for not sticking to my upload schedule. The reason for this is me and my girlfriend have just had a newborn baby. She is a week and a half old and she takes up a lot of time. I just haven't had time to get a video out, and I'm on paternity also, so I haven't had any like time lapses to put in just to fill the gaps or anything like that. So guys, I hope you all understand. Obviously, newborn babies take up a lot of time, but I do apologize. So guys, today's video, we are going to go through and we are going to explain the Great Dane time lapse that I did. I figured what I might start doing is every time I do a time lapse, just do a quick brief explanation over the time lapse just to give you a better understanding of what I'm doing and what I'm thinking at that time. So guys, without further ado, let's get right into it. Roll that intro. I've been in your waters. Okay guys, so like I said, we are going to go through the Great Dane portrait. So let's get right into it. Okay guys, so when I'm first starting off, I'm always starting at the bottom. No matter what I do, I am always starting at the bottom of the tattoo, or from right to left, depending on the position that the client is in. Nothing changes about that. I don't start with eyes first. I don't do any like of the good bits first or the bad bits. I just start at the bottom or at the side and work my way up or across. Okay, as you can see, I am currently doing the right paw. Now, the reason for starting at that right paw is for the fact that it was quite dark on the reference on that side. So this gives me something to work off for the rest of my tones to match my tones up. Wherever you can get black into a piece, you want to be getting your black in first because that gives you a nice comparison to compare the rest of your tones against. If there is no black, then I always recommend doing something dark first, like a dark tone, or it may be a light tone, but you do the lightest dark tone, if that makes sense. Like I said, that gives you something cool to compare against when it comes to putting in the rest of your tones. Okay, I always line round. I always line round. If I'm not going to do a background, I will always use a free liner and I will line round the whole piece. Backgrounds and black generally hold a piece together, but if I'm not doing one, then you definitely need a line. So I always use a free liner just to bang around the outside, just in a light wash or a lighter to mid wash, just so it holds up a little bit better. But generally you'll pick your pieces with a load of contrast in anyway, so if there's loads of contrast in your piece, it's not going to be really necessary. Again, just starting at the bottom, working up. What I always do also is I put in a light tone. If I'm going dark, I will always put in a light tone first, just to open the skin. That way your darks go in a lot smoother. Trust me on that, that is a really good tip. If you want smooth black and grey, put in your lights first and run your darks over the top, and you will find you will get a lot more smoother black and grey. If you just go straight in with your dark, you can get it smooth. Don't get me wrong, I can get it smooth. You'll be able to get it smooth. But going in with a light first makes getting it smooth a lot easier. So if you don't do that, I definitely suggest you give it a try. Now, when it comes to doing a portrait, guys, I am always looking for a photo that has a little bit of character. If it's a face of a child, for example, them doing a like funny face, or they have like food around their mouth. For this picture, for example, the dog's tongue sticking out. I always like to pick a photo that's got something like that in it, that adds character to the piece that we are doing, rather than just like a straight on photo or a side on photo. I feel like these do make the better pieces. So when you're picking your reference, just like I did with this dog, I would definitely go for something like that. Again there, guys, just running that free liner underneath that tongue just to keep it nice and sharp. However, could I have left it like it was, just with the nice dark tone? Yeah, you certainly can. Like I said, that free liner is not needed. I simply just prefer to do that. As you can see in the tongue, guys, there's some nice, like, really small highlights in there. Do not be worried if you happen to shade over those highlights. Just remember that they were there, and the white will go over the top just fine. So don't be like, you know, being too meticulous, trying to get around all those little highlights. If you end up going over them, you end up going over them. Do not worry. If you have a good white, you'll be able to put that white in regardless, and it'll show. Saying that, that's only on wash. I wouldn't really do that on like black. Like, don't like completely black out a highlight and then expect white to be so prominent over the top, because it will just dull down. But if you are using a wash, like especially a mid-tone or a light tone, bang over those highlights with it. Do not worry too much, because white will go over the top. Awesome music choice on this time lapse, by the way. I really do like this music. Little compliment to myself there. Okay, all the way through a piece, I generally try to keep it even. So I will like work up to a place, and then I will come back down and do the right side, for example, and work up to the same height that I'd done before. So in this case, to the top of the tongue. I got the top of the tongue done. I went to the right hand side. I started building upwards towards the top of the tongue on that right hand side. I will always try and do that, and I try to keep it even throughout the entire piece. You'll see now, coming up to it, I'll start going over to the left side and I'll start getting all that black in, just to bring everything up. Working on that left side just to even everything out. Okay guys, so packing black, a lot of people, believe it or not, have so much trouble with packing black. I had trouble packing black. It took me so long to learn how to pack black. It is probably one of the hardest things to learn in tattooing, is to pack black. Believe it or not, to get it consistent throughout, to not be overworking, and to actually pack it, pack the black in so it's solid, it's a really difficult thing to do if you don't know what you're doing. When it comes to packing black, tight circles is always the best. However, depending on the mag that you're using, do not do a circle bigger than what that mag is. So if you're using a 15 mag, then you want to keep those circles tight within that 15 mag radius. If you're using a 7 mag to pack, then again, keep it within that 7 mag radius. When you start trying to do bigger circles with a smaller mag, you are not going to get it packed solid at all, and all that's going to happen is you're going to find that you're going to have to keep going over and over and over, and that's when overworking comes in. So when it comes to packing black, guys, the biggest tip that I can give you is keep within the needle size radius that you are using. Again, just concentrating on that left side, bringing it up to the top of the nose. Okay, so here we're bringing in the details on the top of the nose, which is all the like little grooves on the wet nose. To do this, I think I used a 3-liner and a 11 round shader. I'm almost positive it was an 11 round shader and a 3-liner to do this. I don't go in with black. I literally just go in with a light wash, do all the lines, go over with the 11 round shader, darken some bits up, fatten some bits up, because not every crinkle in that nose is going to be, symmetrical to everyone. So I add variation in line weights to this area. Okay, top tip, now we're working on the nose. What I like to do with short fur is I'll always try to use a 3-liner, but I will, kind of like when I do a 3-liner tattoo, I will link that somewhere around here. That explains how to do a 3-liner tattoo. But when it comes to portraits and on this dog, I use the same technique. I'll use a 3-liner, I will bang the machine down, and I will start, whipping that 3-liner over the top. What this does is this gives it a stippled effect and gives the look of shorter fur on the top of the nose rather than longer fur. So when it comes to like anything animal on top of the noses, lions, tigers, dogs, anything like that, generally at the top of the nose is short fur. I always use a 3-liner and stipple over the top to get that short fur look. Okay, starting to wear on that left hand side. I think for the majority of this piece I was using a 15 mag. The piece wasn't very big at all. working up that nose, working on that left hand side, bringing everything up till it's equal. Okay, when it comes to eyes, I am always more than likely using a round shader and a mag. I might use a free liner to get into some really tight bits, but generally it's all done with a round shader and a mag. Again, don't worry if you go over any highlights or anything like that. Just remember that they're there and then you can put them in later. You're working on that right eye. Yeah, so working on that fur over that right eye, I generally just turn my mag on the side. If doing fur and I'm doing a lot of fur, I will always probably use a flat mag, just for the simple fact of it's easier to get lines that are sharper and crisper rather than doing it with a mag, with a regular stack mag on the side. With this, there wasn't a lot of fur, it was literally just the eyes, so I just used a normal curved mag and then just got the direction of the hair by turning the mag on the side and going in that direction, obviously. Again, as you can see, I have like no background, so I'm just lining around everything that's open. Again, every bit that I do, I look for the darkest bit, like this here now, just to compare my tones in the top of the ear to get that top bit. Okay, and now we're on white. So white, I will only ever put white in anything that is wet. So in this instance, it is going to be in the nose and it's going to be in the eyes. A lot of people use white, and they, especially on like normal portraits like of people, they'll use white and they'll bang in tons of white in the whites of the eyes. Like, that is a big freaking no-no. Like, do not ever do that. I do not recommend doing that. If you like that look for your portraits, then fair enough, go ahead and freaking put as much white in as you want. However, all this does is you spend all that time, right, doing the perfect portrait, and then you smash white in the whites of those eyes. It makes your portrait look like a freaking doll, like a plastic doll. It is not realistic. The eyes are not that white. Okay, so only use white for wet areas, in this case on the nose, and then highlights in the eyes, and then maybe like on the eyelid or something like that, okay, just underneath. But that is it. Do not go around packing white into the eyes. It does not look good at all, and for me, just ruins the entire portrait. So guys, when I'm putting in highlights, with the free liner that I've got, I have a long taper number 10. So it leaves nice little dots, and you can group those little dots together, and that's what I do. I don't just put one dot, one dot, one dot, one dot, one dot. I put a group of dots together, because when light hits, it doesn't just hit in one spot, it disperses as well. So if you've got a really sharp direct highlight, then fair enough, it's going to hit on one spot if it's concentrated light. But generally, light, it'll hit and then it disperses across. So I always use like little dots, and you know, just go all over the area that I need, rather than just, you know, concentrating dots like this. Like I said, guys, when it comes to white, just keep it simple. Just literally just do the wet areas of the portrait if it's an animal. If it's a portrait, just a dot like in the corner, as in a human, just a dot in the corner and a dot on the highlight in the eyes. That's enough. That's enough. If they're like obviously around the lips, maybe they might have their tongue stuck out, just something on the tongue, anything wet. But do not go overboard on white. Less is more. Less is definitely more on white. Okay guys, at this bit here I'm using white and I'm just putting in some white highlights on some hair. Now this wasn't in the reference that I was using. It draws the eye to the direction that the hair's going, but I'm not going overboard with the white. It's just literally a few bits of white going in that direction just to like accentuate the direction of that hair a little bit better. Okay, again, just putting white in those little hairs, making those more of like strands, like single strands that the light's catching. Again, back with that direction. And then finishing with the prominent highlights underneath the tongue. The tongue actually had the most highlights in it altogether, but again, I kept it minimal. I just did the big prominent highlight over on the left side, and then just did like little highlights down the center. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this little explanation. Before you leave, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to go and check out my tattoo tips playlist and all my other tattoo uploads. And also, please guys, please, if you find these videos helpful, then share them out to your friends, your tattooist buddies, whoever you want. Just share them out for me. We are about to hit 300 subs. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this channel deserves a lot more than 300 subs. I put in the work, I put in the time. So, share out these videos. And as always guys, I shall see you all in the next one. Adios.